You know, one of the really fun things about doing this show each and every week is understanding more about the approach of this man, Mark Linton. And he loves challenges. In fact, Mark, you just told me that in 37 years of business, the home that we're featuring here today with this West Coast flair was the most unusual of all for you to landscape.
Yeah, absolutely, and it excites me and thrived on the challenge. The clients came to us almost a year ago, and we started the design process, a new home under construction, and they had a vision, and it's just been fun getting to know them, work with them, and bring their vision to life.
I guess the question would be, Mark, you know, you don't live on the West Coast. You don't know what the day-to-day feel for that kind of culture is out there. I mean, with all due respect. How do you translate that into this? I mean, it looks like it could be in the middle of the Los Angeles area.
Well, thank you, and that's a huge compliment, and that's what the goal was here. But you know, with my travels over the year, no matter where I'm at, I'm always looking and absorbing and taking it in, and understand the look and feel. And this is exactly what they wanted. You know, ideally they wanted things that were tropical and that, but we gave them plants that are hardy here to Michiana that give you the same look and feel.
Ah, so there's a little practicality that goes into it as well, right?
It's got to survive our tough winters.
Hey, one of the things you've done to survive the tough winter is to make it simple with the ground cover, and it's all stone ground cover for the most part, right?
Yes, but many different types of stone.
Yep.
You see behind us here, we've got the large oversized, what we call O-stone ground cover. I love how the dwarf ornamental grasses contrast with that. We've got boulders that are incorporated in here. And then you get over to the other side of the sidewalk, we actually are using black lava. And we chose the black so we had major contrast of color here. And used this steel edging just to make a little division between here. It makes it look like a river flowing through here.
You know, the other thing I really appreciate about Linton's is the fact that your landscape design crew works hand in glove with the contractor, in this case, a home builder, and you design this beautiful entry, and you design the driveway, and even the lighting out there that we're seeing.
Exactly. We spent a lot of time working on driveway, sidewalk, patio designs. We're going to come back next year and feature the backyard once we get that completed.
Fun.
And there's a beautiful outdoor living area there. But what the homeowners actually shared with me is that they spent more time working on the design of the landscape than what they did with the design and construction of the house. And
Wow.
the landscaping was that important to them.
Well, you've nailed it. You've absolutely nailed it.
Well, it's been a fun process, and you're going to see some succulents and some sedums in here. We've got some old-fashioned hens and chicks. We've got some groupings of boulders. We did some berming here, and a nice focal point with the boulevard cypress there. You see the banks of the two windows.
Yes.
It's really kind of calling for something special there. And so we've got a large topiary, and it's highlighted with some landscape lighting. Come back here in the evening and check it out, and it is incredible.
I can only imagine. Yeah, this is stunning work. I'll tell you, you could pick just little pieces of this landscape and apply it to your own home at home, right?
Absolutely. Anchoring the corner here with the red Japanese lace leaf maple. This is over a 20-year-old specimen here. And what I really like is when you're inside looking out, you can see and enjoy this. And again, you're going to see a lot of boulders incorporated in here. And I love how these golden sword century plants contrast with the black lava rock there.
You know, you mentioned the 20-year growth process for that Japanese maple.
Yes.
Were all these plant selections from your nursery then?
Everything was grown at our nursery
Everything.
located in Bristol.
Wow, incredible that you have that much versatility.
There are hundreds and hundreds of different varieties here on this property.
Yeah, I bet. Hey, Mark, we will be looking next year at the back, right? But what about the corner here? You've got some as you call them, necessary evils here.
Exactly.
And I think you're doing some planning
Yeah,
for that, aren't you?
we've got probably the largest residential generator I've ever seen in my entire life. And so we're using some of our columnar upright junipers to help screen those. We've got multiple condensing units for the air conditioner there. And over a few years, that's going to do a nice job of screening.
Wow, absolutely stunning. I tell you
Thank
what.
you.
And one of the very first things you'll notice when you arrive at this beautiful property is the front yard. I mean, this is part of it, but the entryway is just absolutely beautiful. Let's go take a look at that.
Okay, let's go.
Well, Mark, you talked earlier about summer color, and because the homeowner lives in California, they only spend about 8 weeks out of the year here during the summertime. You kind of tailored everything around that, haven't you?
Exactly. Really no reason to have things that come into their glory in the fall or early spring when they're not here to appreciate it. And so, yes, heavily concentrated on the summer colors.
This is the curb appeal, as you would say, right?
Yeah, it's got a lot of curb appeal.
It does. And really the center of it all is the berming that you've done.
Yeah. So the goal was to tuck the house back into the landscape. When the homeowners fell in love with this piece of property, it actually was a heavily wooded lot, and by the time you clear the lot, put the house in, the driveway in, the septic system, they pretty much lost all their trees, and they were heartbroken. And so we more than made up for it. We've got a lot of trees here. Going to give them a very woodsy, natural look, but with a contemporary flair to it.
Yeah, you've more than made up for it, but it's not cluttered, and spacing is key too, isn't it?
It's very, very important because they wanted this clean, simple look, and so things are spaced out so it doesn't grow together and overwhelm the house. So.
Very good. We'll keep talking about the concept here a little bit, can you?
Okay, so we're using a very natural looking ground cover here. It's one of my favorite. It's stone bark ground cover. Ideally, they wanted bark ground cover, but the maintenance of that would have just been incredible to have to keep replenishing all that bark. We're going to get 20 plus years out of the stone bark ground cover. There's a woven fabric weed barrier underneath there, lets water go through but prevents weeds from coming up. And so with this berming, you'll see it gently tapering down to the driveway, and then we've got another berm on the other side of the driveway, and we wanted it to appear that it was just naturally that way, and then the driveway was cut through that hillside.
Well, that's the feel you get. It doesn't look like an afterthought. I mean, it looks like this is the way it was, but you're telling me no, it was flat.
Exactly. So you're going to see a wide variety of ornamental grasses in here. We've got evergreens mixed with deciduous, and you probably recognize these as dogwood trees, but the unusual thing about these dogwoods is they're Chinese dogwoods, and where our native dogwood trees bloom in the springtime, Chinese dogwoods bloom the entire month of June and into July.
Get out of town, really?
So for that reason, they get to enjoy the flowers.
Well, something new that we learned here today, Mark Linton. Well, I like the drive here, and again, you designed this along with the sidewalk and the lighting and all of that, and it kind of flanks what we were talking about just a moment ago.
There is some balance and symmetry going on here, but it is not a formal look, and we don't want matchy-matchy at all.
Okay.
But there is some repeat of the plant material. I love these tiger eye sumac with their bright golden colored leaves. You're starting to see a little hint of red and orange, which is their fall color.
You've got a lot of boulders too that are delicately placed, right?
Yes,
very
they are.
careful.
Yeah, very strategic. And you're going to see in kind of the cracks and the crevices here of the boulders a lot of succulents and sedums, and this is a very popular look that you would find out on the West Coast.
A lot of wildlife out here. You can hear the birds in the background.
Oh my goodness,
can't you?
yes, and that's something that they do appreciate. You're going to notice in the backyard when we come back next year, we've got a lot of butterfly attractors, especially concentrated around the patio. And then we also used plant material to repel mosquitoes.
Ah, very important. Well, I know your crew's been working hard out here, and you mentioned as well that they've been out here pretty much every day of the season.
You know, we started on this project as soon as the ground thawed out.
Wow.
And been plugging away here. And we will have to come back next spring to feature the backyard.
Well, tell us a little bit more, Mark, about the first phase here that you might want to just add before we go to break.
Oh, well, you're going to see a wide variety of plant material. Right now, our Russian sage is in full bloom. Those are the ones with purple flowers there. And our sedums are getting ready to put on a nice show. You can see a little hint of color with them. And if you look at the base of the birch trees, we've got white birch here. We've got spotlights, and the spotlights shining up into those trees really create a nice accent during the evening.
Sure. Do you cast any color on the tree at all, or is it just a white light?
It is just plain white light and the beauty of the trees itself.
Absolutely. In a topiary, I see.
Yeah, you know, that goes along with the contemporary look and feel of the landscape. We've got one of our Hindu pan pines here, little dwarf bonsai. I like how this anchors the corner of the driveway, also ties in with the specimen Pom Pom Boulevard cypress that we've got up by the front of the house.
So the most unusual landscape design in 37 years of business. You're going to hold to that, huh?
Absolutely. This is it.
Were there any major challenges besides just something that you never see around here?
You know, the challenge was matching up exactly to the client's vision, and then also trying to pull off a look that we don't typically see around here, utilizing plants that are hardy to Michiana to give you that West Coast look and feel. And we're able to achieve that through many meetings with the homeowners, and feel like we're heavily connected now and part of the family.
Well, it is a phenomenal piece of property, and one that we hope you enjoyed seeing today. This West Coast design here in the Midwest, in Michiana of all places. Mark, great job.
Thank you, Craig.
Hey, much more coming up on our program. Stay with us. We'll be right back.